What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Time to get back to those pre-season predictions. So before a ball was kicked, we went through our 25-26 player predictions. We got player of the season, young player of the season, surprise package, most improved, flop, best signing, top goal scorer, and top assister. However, now the transfer window is all said and done. We are going to be making revised predictions. So, as you can see, player of the season, we both picked Pedro Porro. Now let's see if we've made, who have we put in our player of the season now that is all said and done. So you've gone for Romero. I've gone for Simmons. What's made you pivot from Porro to Romero?
So he's got the captaincy armband. I think he's got that new responsibility. Obviously, back when we made those predictions, we weren't even sure if he was staying or not. We weren't sure what his future holds. So I think he's going to be a player playing, obviously, most games, pretty much every game. Hopefully, if he stays fit, that is. I think he's going to hold himself to a higher standard now that he's captain. And I can see him being our most consistent player this season. So I've gone for Kuti.
Yeah, I've pivoted from Porro to Javi Simons. I think Simons is going to come in. I think he's going to hit the ground running. I think he's exactly what we need at this moment in time. And I think he's just going to be that kind of hub of the team. And you remember back when Eriksen was in his pomp for us, and how many times did we sit there and say that when Eriksen doesn't play, we don't tick? How many times did we say when Eriksen doesn't play, we don't create chances? And I've got a feeling we might have that he might have that similar impact for us this season.
Could well. I think he was one of my contenders for sure.
So young player of the season, last time out, Sim went for Tell as young player of the season, and I went for Bergvall. And there's no changes there on this year's or the revised predictions. Sim stuck with Tell.
I did.
Post the disappointment of not making it into the Champions League squad. And I've stuck with Lucas Bergvall as well. For me, Lucas Bergvall hasn't had a significant amount of game time as of yet. But I think you can see specifically against Bournemouth how he's come in. And after the game, everyone's saying the same thing. Bergvall should definitely have started. And I think in games like this, in games like that, where we're asked to have possession, Bergvall's just going to be so important for us.
Yeah, I stuck with my man only because
I feel bad for him.
Not just because of that. I didn't want to take another thing away from him after being left out of the Champions League squad. I'm joking. I just got a feeling the fact he was left out, could that give him this little extra motivation when he does get opportunities in Premier League and Cups to really make sure that he's grabbing those opportunities with both hands, and he's kind of fighting for an extra thing now when he's playing those games. And I've got a feeling come January there might be a lot of Tottenham fans saying, why didn't we include him? Look how well he's playing. And I've got a feeling he might be hit some form at some point this season. And come January, come the second half of the season, he'll be back in the Champions League squad and a lot of people will be impressed by him. I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong.
All right, let's hope so. That's what we want. But in terms of surprise package, did you go for Richarlison in the first one?
I did.
Yeah, so with no changes in surprise package as well. Sim's gone for Richie. I've gone for Gray. Obviously, Richie has started the season on fire. 2 goals already. And, what's your reasoning behind Richarlison?
Well, at the time, the surprise for me was that I think he's going to stay and he's going to do well because a lot of talk was him leaving. Obviously, it was, I think before pre-season we made these predictions? Anyway, the transfer window was still open. Everything was still up in the air. So I said, I think he's going to stay and I think Frank's going to like him a lot and I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong. So I've got no reason to change that at the moment. He started the season unbelievably, better than anyone expected. Scored a couple of great goals against Burnley, great performance against City, great performance against PSG. So I think the prediction's going well so far, so I'm not going to change it.
Yeah, for me, I've gone for Archie Gray because I feel like there will be times João Palhinha can't play every single game, and I think Gray is going to be potentially the deputy in that position. And I think over the long course of a season, not many people coming into this season, I think on the back of last year, are expecting too much of Gray. And I feel like come the end of the season, people will be looking back at Gray performances this season being like, wow, you know, he's really come on leaps and bounds. So that's why I've gone for Archie Gray. And we all know that that Thomas Frank really likes him. Tried to sign him at Brentford as well. He'll have a clear development plan for him. And I'm predicting that development plan to come into fruition this season. So I've gone for Gray. Sim's gone for Richarlison. In terms of most improved, I think we've gone for this. We haven't made changes to that one as well, where Sim's gone for Pape. I've gone for Wilson Odobert. And I think Odobert is at this current moment in time, the deputy to Brennan Johnson on that left-hand side. And I think he's going to see a significant amount of game time. He's above Matisse Tell in the pecking order. I've seen a lot more from... I said not a lot more, but I've seen more from Odegaard than Matisse Tell at this moment in time. And I think that Frank clearly likes him. And I think you're going to see him make impacts off the bench. He's going to start the cup games. And judging on last season, we didn't see him much. So I think that will be a massive improvement.
Yeah, I went for Sarr just because I thought second half last season he had a drop off. And I think, look, when in pre-season he was playing brilliantly. I think he's had a really good start to the season as well in the Premier League. I think he's going to take his game on even more this season. So, yeah, I think Sarr, we're going to see a lot of improvement from him this season. I think we're seeing it already. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with that.
Flop. So we both made changes in the flop category. We both went for Brennan Johnson. Brennan Johnson has scored 2 goals out of his first 3 games. Sim's gone for Ben Davis as flop.
Yeah, I was struggling.
It's a bit of a cop-out, Ben Davis.
Basically, I was struggling. I didn't want to go for Tell because I've gone for him Young Player of the Year, so I can't exactly call him a flop. And I was looking at else. I don't really know who else I can really say is going to be a flop potentially, unless you're being harsh. I could put Dragusin in there. I don't really want to. I think it's harsh. I don't know. I didn't really know who to pick for flop of the season. So I think Davis is the one I'm most unsure about. So I went for him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't think many people are expecting much from Davis this season anyway. And is he going to get much game time? Obviously, we don't know.
Might do.
You think he will?
Who knows?
Yeah, he's going to have to, I guess, because we don't have many players in that position. But look, I think Ben Davis always gives you a standard performance. But look, in my opinion, I really hated making this prediction. Like, again, I agree with you. I look through the squad, and it's hard to pick one who's going to be flop. And we both went for Brennan Johnson. I don't think he's going to be a flop. And when you look at my prediction a bit later, it's kind of mad the pivot that I've gone from, where I see Johnson. But with Matisse Tell, I think he hasn't been picked for the Champions League squad, which tells me a lot of where Thomas Frank sees him in the pecking order. I haven't seen much from him as of yet. And I think he's going to struggle. I think he's going to struggle for minutes. And I think with Matisse, I think what he needs is a long run in the side to really get a rhythm going. And I'm just not sure he's going to get that.
Yeah, no, it's fair. Look, as I say, I thought you might go for him because he's been left out of the squad and he's not been great. Do you think, though, when you think about it, is there quite a bit of difference in the discourse between someone like Tell and Gray? Both come in for big money. Both had real struggles. Yeah, some people are so ready to write off Tell. I'm not saying you specifically, but some people are so ready to, he's saying he's rubbish. Yeah, whenever it comes to Gray, it's, give him time, give him patience.
I don't agree with that because I've seen a lot of people saying writing off Gray already. I've seen a lot of that kind of narrative surrounding Archie Gray. So I don't think we shouldn't be writing off either of these players.
I agree with that.
They're both young players trying to make their way in the game. I guess the difference is that Matisse Tell had a big reputation for coming here. I know Archie Gray did have a reputation as well, but Tell played at a much higher level than Archie Gray.
Mm-hmm. So what we should expect more from him is your point?
Yeah.
Is that right? Should we? They're similar ages, similar money.
Yeah, they're similar ages, but he's a player with Champions League experience. They were talking about him as like one of the up-and-coming players in European football. I mean, when we were doing the negotiations with Harry Kane and there was a suggestion that we can be bringing in Matisse Tell the other way, Bayern Munich shut that down straight away because they saw him as like their kind of future star there. And I was so excited to potentially get Matisse Tell. But look, I think that Tell should be further along than Archie Gray in his development at this point.
I understand that, but I also feel like Gray gets I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I just feel like Gray gets a lot more leeway from Tottenham fans than Tell does. I think they both should be. I think they should both have patience, and I think they're both really good talents. And I just feel from what I see personally, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are much more ready to write off Tell than they are Gray.
And also Archie Gray, you got to remember, last year he was vitally important for us at times. He came in at a time of need, filled in at centre back a lot of the time, right back a lot of the time. I know he didn't have a great end to the season. He was actually pretty poor towards the end. But if you're looking at a large chunk of the season, he did phenomenally well for us.
He did okay. He did well for an 18-year-old with little experience playing centre-back. But I don't think as a performance, apart from maybe a handful, you got the Liverpool game.
He did a massive job for us and a massive job for the team.
Yeah, but it didn't exactly go that well.
No, I get that, but I'm saying like I just think like fine.
Same with Tell.
It's not really.
Yeah, he came in a really bad situation, and he was also playing games. Didn't do that well, but he played and stepped in.
I feel like Archie had a better season last year with the moments that he had than Matisse Tell did.
Well, he had longer. He had a year.
Yeah.
Tell only had 6 months, but
Yeah.
Tell also, he showed flashes. I'm not saying he played well, really, but I think he had a bit. Like Gray as well had a lot of struggles, especially when he was playing
completely out of position.
Yeah, he was.
Like, imagine asking an 18-year-old, never had Premier League experience, to play week in, week out at centre-back.
I know.
Like, that's mad.
I agree with you, and I commend it. I'm just saying, I just feel a lot of people are more ready to write off Tell, and they're willing to give Gray a lot of leeway when there should be seen similarly, in my opinion.
It's also as well the options that we have in the squad. Like at left wing, we've got many options, so many better options than Tell. Whereas Gray, he's not seen as a player that should be fighting for the first 11, where I think people are looking at Tell in that vein.
I don't understand. You're saying we have more better options than Tell at left wing, but not for Gray?
I think for Gray, like, he's seen as like a player that doesn't need to be in the first 11 or doesn't need to be, fighting for that kind of position right now. We're seeing him as more of like a work in progress development. And I think Tell is a work in progress and development, but he's seen as a bit of different light because of him having that Bayern Munich background, and the way he came in last year. He was asked to we brought him in because of injuries, and he was supposed to hit the ground running and provide for us for the last 6 months because it was only a loan.
Mm-hmm.
Where
I understand
he didn't really do that.
Yeah, but we signed him permanently on a long contract.
Yeah, but I mean, those 6 months we didn't know if we were going to sign him or not.
I'm just saying we have.
Yeah, I know at this moment in time we have, but I'm saying when he came in, and the evidence that we have is, in our mind, when the evidence was given, was at a time where it was only a 6 month loan and he was supposed to be proving his worth, which he didn't really do.
Yeah, I understand that.
All right, next up, we're going to go for best signing of the season. So we both went for Kudus, and now we're both going for Xavi Simons.
Yeah, I just think Simons is... I think Kudus is going to be a real big signing for us, but I just feel like Simons has got that real star quality, a bit more than Kudus. And I think he's going to be such an important player for us this season as well. With the position he plays, I think we're going to need him desperately, so I think he's going to be our best signing.
Yeah, completely agree. I've put him as my player of the season, so he has to be my best signing then if I'm putting him in a player of the season. Next up, we're going for top goal scorer. So Sim went for Richarlison, and I went for Solanke. Now Solanke's got that injury, I had to change my prediction. Sim's stuck with Richie. So I've actually gone for Brennan Johnson, back-to-back top goal scorers for Tottenham Hotspur. And I think with Brennan Johnson, I think he's already shown his ability last season and the start of this season to bag consistent goals. He's currently joint top with Richarlison. And I feel like he's just going to be a major beneficiary of the work that Xavi Simons is going to do in the middle of the park, as well as Kudus' work on the right-hand side. And you know what? Those kind of arguments that I've given for Johnson, you could make for Richarlison as well.
Yeah, I'm happy with my prediction so far. 2 goals. He's looking sharp, looking good. He says physically he's in a new situation, in a better situation. So I'm gonna back it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, the dynamic, isn't it? With 3 number 9s at the club now, with Muani, Richarlison, and Solanke. Who's going to be the starting number 9? Who's going to get the most minutes? And I think that's going to be heavily reliant on your prediction.
Yeah, or yours as well, because I think there's a chance that Muani could take Johnson's spot as well.
True. Yeah, very true. I guess the beauty of what we've got now is versatility. That's great, particularly in the forward line. And we're moving on to the last prediction, which was top assister. We both went for Pedro Porro, and I don't think it's going to be a secret or a surprise of who we've gone for now, and that is Xavi Simons as top assister.
Yeah, and playing in the 10, we didn't have a 10 when we made these predictions. Porro's obviously taking all the set pieces, and I think Porro will still get a lot of assists, but I think Simons is going to take that mantle. He's got that creative eye, and I think he's going to be creating a lot of chances. So, yeah, one for him.
All right, so those are 25-26 player predictions. No more revised predictions.
That's it.
That
Locked
is it.
in now.
Locked in, and we'll be revisiting them at the end of the season.
Last chance to make any changes, Ben? Last chance? You happy?
I would prefer not to have a flop prediction. just delete that segment. But
Can't be done.
Apart from that, I'll stick with mine. But I want to know your guys' prediction in the comment section below. Let us know about all those topics. Who are your predicted player predictions of Tottenham 25-26 season? And we'll revisit all the comments and everything towards the after the season's finishes, when it's all said and done. Once after Spurs have lifted that trophy in Budapest, hopefully. But that is it from us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
Come on, you Spurs.